Hofstra Beef is an Instagram account where Hofstra students will go submit to a Google form in the Instagram bio, and they'll say their complaints about people on campus. And the person who runs that account will take those complaints and post them in a little text format on Instagram.
Yeah, I know what Hofstra Beef is.
Okay, and how do you feel about it?
I think that there's all a little side of us that loves reading the posts on Hofstra Beef. I mean, I don't think like the discourse is necessary.
There's impact when it's said anonymously.
And it probably does a lot of bad for some people.
Why wouldn't they see it? My face.
It's like watching a car crash, you can't look away.
Because if you don't know who said this thing, then everyone said this thing.
I am Cameron, and I am a senior at Hofstra University, a quaint liberal arts college in Long Island. And since my sophomore year, Hofstra Beef has always kind of just been around. Everyone in my year at least knows about the anonymous account. It was meant to be a space to air out our dirty laundry. Your roommate makes a mess, someone stole your man, or a teacher gives you an unjustified grade. This is where you'd go to vent it all out. It sounds harmless and inherently entertaining. After all, it's in human nature to find some sort of refuge in other people's problems.
Does it entertain you?
Yeah, I like drama. I like listening to it. I like hearing it. I don't like being in it.
An anonymous speech is deeply embedded into our First Amendment. Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, other political activists during the American Revolution used anonymous pen names while writing political, controversial books and essays. They did this to avoid major retaliation from the 13 colonies, aka the British. These works are celebrated today as heroic weapons in the defense of liberty. So obviously it's everyone's right to use anonymous speech. But it's not exactly like Hofstra Beef submissions are heroic weapons in the defense of liberty. In fact, according to the First Amendment, using fighting words, obscenity, and more importantly, defamation are considered unprotected speech.
Dear E, you have a fart tank in our commuter. Take a struggle. Fuck the dude who had sex with his cat in the dorm. What is going on there? Whoever keeps revving their engine at 2 a.m., I'm going to jump in front of your car while it's moving to permanently alter the course of your life and traumatize you. I swear to God.
These are some of the more lighthearted ones. And I think it's fair to say that this wouldn't exactly be covered in the First Amendment. But does that mean that anyone's gonna give a fuck if you shit talk someone online? Most likely not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't matter.
And people do use anonymous speech positively here at Hofstra. When Hofstra Beef grew too harsh, I found myself seeking refuge in Hofstra Compliments, its kinder, more positive counterpart.
Hofstra Compliments operates in the same way that Hofstra Beef does, where it's an Instagram account with a Google form that people submit anonymously to. But rather than being complaints and negative stuff about people, you're supposed to go on there and say like, oh, I saw this person and I really liked their jacket, or this club seems really cool. So it's a much more positive space than Hofstra Beef is.
In a sea of negativity, it was a brief reminder that kindness still existed. But I couldn't shake this one question as I scrolled. Who was behind Hofstra Beef? And I didn't know if it was because I just wanted to know out of curiosity, or I felt it was necessary to reveal the person who so shamelessly puts people's name and identity out there for the rest of the world to judge, while they stay completely in the shadows themselves. Regardless, I had to find out who they were for myself.
So, that's it.
Thanks. Okay, do you know the identity of Hofstra Beef?
No. No.
I do not.
No, I don't.
I know someone who knows who it is, and they would give me their name, but I wouldn't be able to place a name to a face.
I heard that the same person that owns Hofstra Beef also owns Hofstra Compliments. To my knowledge, it's the same person.
Okay, and who are you in the context of this documentary?
I am the creator of Hofstra Compliments.
And
So you did not create Hofstra Beef?
I did not create Hofstra Beef.
And then why would someone say that you created Hofstra Beef?
I think people see Hofstra compliments and Hofstra Beef as in relation to one another, and I think that would lead them to draw the conclusion that one person created both accounts, but I also think that there's a lot of people on campus who just wouldn't put it past me and just think that I'm a mean person.
Okay,
It was clear something wasn't adding up after the interview. I walked out pretty sure they were lying, but I needed to put together a strong argument before I could be certain. The case against Hofstra compliments being the same person as Hofstra Beef. If my memory doesn't fail me, Hofstra Beef has been around since I was a freshman, nearly 4 years ago. But the creator of Hofstra compliments is a junior, which means they wouldn't have been around to create it. But the big thing bugging me is the Hofstra compliments guy has been featured on Hofstra Beef several times, and the things that were said were pretty far from nice and sweet. Which raises the question, why would they be involved with an account that has targeted them? The case for Hofstra compliments being the same person as Hofstra Beef. Beyond just the anonymous source, several people pointed me in the direction of the individual behind Hofstra compliments. Not only that, but while in the interview chair, they spoke negatively about Hofstra Beef. Actually, it was the most profound argument against it.
I honestly feel like the bad outweighs the good when it comes to anonymous speech. You look at platforms like Fizz and Hofstra Beef, and you see these people saying these really unkind things about people on campus, and it gives you freedom of speech, but it also gives you freedom of consequence.
But I discovered that even though Hofstra Beef has 825 people following the account, only 190 of those Hofstra Beef follows back. And one of those people is this guy. Not only that, but they liked well over 30 of Hofstra Beef's posts. To me, that doesn't sound like someone who exactly hates Hofstra Beef. There was one thing I haven't mentioned yet. Hofstra Beef most likely has had multiple owners. On top of the bio stating they're under new management, the account's tone and activity seems to have shifted over time. If that's the case, then the person I interviewed may not have started or currently owns the account. This could very well explain both the junior argument and the Hofstra Beef slander argument. But the one thing with that is if they did previously own the account, you'd expect them to have handed it over to a friend, or at least someone they trusted. And if that were the case, would that friend really allow them to be dragged through the mud? Would they stand by while Hofstra Beef took shots at the very person who gave them control? If I'm completely honest, with all the random evidence I worked so hard to get, I simply don't know. It's all speculation, and I'm not nearly confident enough to answer the very question I've tried so hard to answer. I felt a little lost, but in the end, I figured out who Hofstra Beef is. It's me, and it's you. We are the ones who submit the posts. We are the ones who like them. We are the ones who choose to throw stones and then retreat into the shadows. The power of Hofstra Beef, Fizz, and any other anonymous form has never belonged to just one person. It belongs to us all. We are the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And the ones behind the account, they're just mediators, passing along what we create. Anonymous speech is a powerful tool. It has been used to expose corruption, to challenge oppression, to protect those who have no other means of speaking out. But here, we wield that power for something very small, to tell people they suck. Maybe it's time we ask ourselves, is that really the best we can do?